Yes, family, welcome back. You don't know it is again, you know. Dr. Cookie here again. Well, family, I've been strolling through the internet as usual, and I broke up a few of the promises that Andrew Holness made, you understand me, to the people them before he got voted in. You understand? He was beating Portia Simpson really bad. You get me? Until him getting the position, now him can change things, and he not changing nothing. He haven't changed nothing at all. So family, listen to this with me.
Let me restate the policy of the Jamaica Labour Party with respect to the IMF program. The IMF program is necessary to create stability in the economy. Disciplined management of the country's financial affairs should have been a culture and practice of all governments, PNP or JLP. It should never have taken the IMF to tell us to do that. The Jamaica Labour Party started the process of developing fiscal rules, and we will abide by them when we form the next government. But we believe that the primary surplus target is too high, unrealistic, and will become increasingly unattainable as the program progresses. The passing of IMF tests based on the primary surplus targets relies heavily on taxation and cutting public expenditure. As the government pursues a contractionary path on the fiscal side, it must very rapidly design and implement a program to promote investment and growth through the private sector. This government has failed dismally in creating growth in the economy, and the figures show it. President Obama came and he paid respect to what we have achieved in terms of our political and social independence. But here is what he had to say.
But what I also agreed with when I spoke to the Prime Minister is the need to try to address in a more systematic fashion how we can spur growth and not just put the squeeze on folks, because what it turns out is that if the best way for a country to reduce its debt is to grow really fast and to generate more income. Now, that does require development plans
and productive approaches. So Obama gets it. The government doesn't get it. But I want the people of Jamaica to get it. The struggle now is not about the political issues. It's about the economy. The next election must be about the economy. This is what we have been telling the government since 2011. This is what we have been saying to the country in all our messages. The greatest threat to the IMF program is not the teachers and policemen asking for more money. No, they are not a threat to the IMF program. It is not the motorists asking for better roads, not the farmer asking for water. It is the failure of the government in a time of global economic recovery, when even Haiti is growing in excess of 5%, either by ineptitude, clumsiness, slouchiness, or ignorance. This government has not produced meaningful growth in this economy for almost 4 years. It is the government that is placing the IMF deal at risk by its inability to grow the economy. Don't blame the teachers, don't blame the police, don't blame the soldiers, don't blame the civil servants. Take the blame, government. You are responsible. This government wants to distract you from the core, fundamental, vital, critical, inescapable issue of growth. Growth, that's what it is about. No CCJ, no ganja liberalization promise, no burglary law removal promised by the PNP is going to distract the Jamaica Labour Party and the people of Jamaica from asking the important question, what about growth in our country? Truth be told, it is not the government that is passing IMF tests. It is you who are passing the IMF test. Every time the government puts on a new tax, and you dutifully, as you should as a citizen, pay it, you are passing the IMF test. Not Peter Phillips. It is your sacrifice. It is not the minister's ingenuity or commitment that is passing the test. It is your sacrifice. Every time you can't get medicine, or your roads go unfixed, or your wages are frozen, that's your sacrifice in passing the IMF test. Not the PNP. Anybody can raise taxes. Don't take no financial genius to do that. Anybody can go through a budget and just draw the line through capital expenditure. It don't take an economist to do that. But only one political party has the history of growing the economy, and that is the Jamaica Labour Party.
First this evening, most Jamaicans want ministers and members of parliament to retire by age 65.
At the same time, most Jamaicans also want term limits to be introduced for prime ministers and members of parliament.
Details came from the latest RGR Gleaner Don Anderson polls. Andrea Chisholm has details.
MP for Clarendon Central Mike Henry is 88 years old. MP for North Central St. Andrew Carl Samuda, 81 years old. State Minister in the Science Ministry J.C. Hutchinson, 80 years old. Other MPs such as Olivia Babsy-Grange, Ed Bartlett, Dr. Horace Chang, Homer Davis, Dr. Peter Phillips, Desmond McKenzie, Delroy Chuck and Everald Warmington are all over 70 years. Now there's been a long-standing debate over what should be the retirement age for politicians, and so the matter was put to 1,010 registered voters across the island from August 30 to September 14. 92% of those interviewed said ministers and MPs should retire at a certain age. So, what's the number? 61% of respondents say the retirement age should be 65 years, 21% 70 years, and 6% each said 60 and 75 years. Now, before the 2016 general election, Prime Minister Andrew Holness said that if elected, he would introduce legislation for term limits for prime ministers. Until that becomes a reality, Jamaicans have weighed in. 77% of those interviewed said there should be term limits for the executive president, which is similar to the position of a prime minister.
So, 72% said that the member of parliament should have a limit on the number of terms that he or she spends in office.
Others said there was no need for term limits and some were not sure. And how long should an executive president serve?
55% of those who talked in terms of an executive president said he should serve 2 terms unfixed. 26% would allow him a 3rd term, or her 3rd term. 26% said the executive president could serve a 3rd term. 7% said they would give them more than 3 terms. But between those who said 2 terms and 3 terms, we have clearly over 80%. So that's where obviously you want to be focusing your attention.
What about MPs? How long should they serve? 48% said 2 terms, 30% 3 terms, and the minority said over 3 terms, 1 term, or they were not sure. The RGR Gleaner Don Anderson poll has a margin of error of plus or minus 3%.
So family, as you can hear, a lot of empty promises. And that's what I'm saying. He's saying what and what would change when him get into power. Literally the JLP get into power. What and what is going to be changing. But he hasn't followed none of these things. He's even end up breaking the rules how much times, family. So that's what I say. And still not all, he still hasn't been all accounted for a lot of the things that he did. You understand? I hear a Rasta man on YouTube saying that only enough to vote. Family, you have to vote for change. You understand what I say? And we need a change. We need a change in Jamaica right now. You understand? Them trying to keep down the opposition, the PMP, them so much. Give them a chance to know, man. Give them a chance as well now to prove themselves. You understand me? Because as far as I know, the PMP is for the people all the time. JLP is for himself all the time. You understand me I say? So family, please like and share the video. You understand me? Share the video. Go out there and vote for the changes, guys. I beg you. Because if we don't make him win again, you know, I'm not going to ball, you know, this, that. Because we know the evil already. We don't know the demon right in front of them. There's a demon in front of you guys. You understand me? So we need to sweep him out. Sweep him out. And let's get on with a new chapter. You understand me? For the younger generation them. You understand me? So family, like, share the video. Dr. Cookie.